Hey there, Warrior Dragony. How's it going tonight? You ready to be midweek tomorrow? They're called bubble timers, and I'm doing very well, Niev Churchill. What about you? To get through your day all right? I'm doing good. I'm doing the best I can with what I have. Taking it a day at a time. Forgiving myself when I screw up. Two, four, six. I have 6 different ones of these so far. Well, I'm glad you're having a good trip, David. Here's a flip for you. I feel like hot chocolate could go well with this stream. I'm sorry to hear that, Neve. Wi-Fi is a fickle lover, isn't it? Hello, Shy Guy. And how are you doing today? Hello, Norman. Sure, cosplay. There's a turn for you. What's up? And hello again, Toothlessly Terrific. It's good to see you again. And there goes my Wi-Fi. Hello, guess who I am. Trina. They're called bubble timers. And hello, Faith. Yes, I remember you, Gohan Hunter. How have you been? I don't recall having seen you in a little bit. You holding out okay? Hello, Katrina Pope. And hello again, party. And yes, I remember you, I am so funny, a very. And I remember you as well, Gone. And hello there. Hey, Dave. What makes you think it's broken? Whose standard are you trying to live up to? It is hard to stay grateful. For example, I am not grateful that my Wi-Fi is being obnoxious. Probably because my computer wants me to do an update. We're all struggling with our mental health anymore. Remember, family's not who you're born to. It's who you go to. Well, I'm experiencing technical difficulty with my music. Par for course. Hello, Potato Queen. And hello, Monk Stud. And it's just a place to chill, the Glizzy God. That's it. You watch the bubbles, you listen to the music. Hello, witches Sagittarius. And there's a boop on the snoot for your hug. Hello, Sarah Wood Elf. And hello, the one Mexican. Yeah? Hey, Beth Flick. B-Fleck? So, midterms, huh? Did you forget about the part where they're trying to see how you respond under pressure? That's the biggest part of a test. Aim on it. You're supposed to be stressed. That's how the system is designed with our education. I'm sorry about the music. And they're called bubble timers. I can't answer everyone at once. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. You're very welcome. I'm so funny. I've also gotten Dollar Store Bob Ross, Matt. Give it time. Your body will bounce back. Happy birthday, Hugh. If my Wi-Fi would cooperate, I'd be doing a lot better. You're killing me here. Hello, Hades Splash. I'm sorry to hear about your day. I'm glad I could make it better. I got a flip right here for you. You are just not going to work until I do the update. I am having a great day. I worked really hard, finished a couple projects I've been working on for a while. I'm a bit nervous to see how they turn out, but I'm getting there. No, you don't have to be positive all the time. It's overrated. People will demand that you be happy or try and sell you happiness by the gallon. Who really said that you have to be happy all the time? Or even most of the time? Of all the emotions that you're capable of expressing, why is happiness the only one that somebody decided was good enough? Seriously. It's like if you had a guitar and somebody told you you're only allowed to play the G chord. Just because the G chord hits the spot doesn't mean that you need to ignore the rest of your strings. And thank you, I hate Viv. It's very kind of you. The real killer for us, in my opinion at least, is just shame. We make ourselves ashamed for all kinds of things that are not only perfectly natural, but things that if we don't express or exist will tear us apart. Seriously. You are not going to work until I run this update. Why? Hello, APM. It's good to see you again. And hello, Underworld Green. Underworld as in Hades, green as in Persephone. The coming and going of the seasons, the times of depression. I know how much it sucks that your uncle's passed away. I can't make that better magically. But I can tell you that everything good about him, every wonderful moment he shared with you, all of the pride and the love, it's still there. You're carrying it with you. and he had carried those same emotions from somebody else. Generations, those things have been passed down and practiced. You are now the guardian of everything that he held dear. You get to choose to pass that forward or to pay it forward. Share his stories and his messages. Yep, APM, I have spent a lot of time in TikTok jail. I've tried to be on my best behavior. Hello, amazing Suni. Are you gonna let me do it now? No, that's what we do here. Just bubbles and chill. It's a place to relax. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to steal your attention. I'm a killer. I love my wife, but she's been messing with my computer. There we go. Let's see if my computer works properly now. It's called a bubble timer. When I was a child, I thought they were made of magic. That little bits of mystery and undefinable energies moved the fluids through the bottle. And now that I'm all grown up, and I've left my childhood behind, even as I've brought my inner childhood with me through all of my time, I've decided to make these bubble timers a thing that they never were. A little bit of magic dripping through the world. A place to be at peace. A place where you could heal. A place where you could breathe. So doing here on this stream, we're taking off the mask and leaving our baggage by the door. We dip our toes in the bubbles and we tell our worries to wait just a little more. Tomorrow the problems will still be there. But today, for now, they don't have to be here. You don't have to carry them all of the time. You can catch your breath and just exist as I make my rhymes. Regain your strength, your faith, and your hope, and prepare to catch the dreams while you wait upon your boat. Send your hope to float out into the sky, for there are more dreams and stars than shall ever meet the eyes. And never forget, those dreams came to you. Of all the people in the world they could have chosen, they wanted to live with and through you. Whether you set them free from the prisons of your shame and your fear and your personal belief that you're an inadequate thing, that yet remains to be seen. But I hope you do. I hope you turn that key. I hope you open the door and set your dreams on free. I hope you smile when you reach the end. I hope you cross over to the other side with the warmth of your dearest friends. So take your time, and here's a boop for the frog. There's no need to hurry, just breathe. Stretch out your legs exist for a bit. Regain your strength, and your soul and your focus will go with it. To sleep is not to rest, and to rest is not to sleep. To rest and truly rest, you have to give back life's heartbeat. Listen to the things that you don't want to hear, whether glorious or mourning, your greatest triumphs or your darkest fears. If all you ever do is the best that you could, then you're living your life the way that you should. So many like to say that the path to hell is filled with good intentions where they laid. It's only a cynic, someone angered and lost, someone who's decided to tear down their own cross. Good intentions don't line the highway to hell, because good intentions can never not go well. Doing the right thing was never supposed to be easy. That doesn't promise that it's gonna make things move like a breeze. And if you want to grow a beard, go ahead. If you don't. It's just facial hair. You can cut it off or grow it back. Hello, Pun. How's it going? And hello, T-Box. Hello, Miley. And hello, everyone else again. Old and new, all of you whom I call friend. I'm proud of you, and I want you to know. I look forward to hearing all of the stories of how you grow, of how this one moment, as you sat with your phone, you suddenly just didn't feel so terribly alone. Of how one person with a few words and a smile reminded you of the beauty in life, and that sometimes it's all worth the while. The same to you, Ami Forrest. I hope you're having a great day too. Well, thank you, Ocean Warrior Spirit. Thank you, Miss Andrist. I do love hearing that. Well, Gary Finney, I'm glad to hear that you found your way. Congratulations, Sarah. 2 days is your best record, but I know you've got better in you. You've got fight in you. You were hurt and you were down, and you tried to treat it in all the wrong ways. But now you've pulled up out of the days, never to go back down, never to drown. It's time to sail. Stay on the water's surface and keep your course. And as for asking the love of your life, of course I've got plenty and plenty of wonderful advice. But first, let me ask you a very simple thing. Would you ever lie to the person you wanted to give a ring? If you have to wear a mask and pretend to be their dream, you've reduced everything special about you and turned yourself into a thing. If you must play the part of an actor then that's not love that you're really after. Love sees who you are and wants nothing more. Emptiness will always come knocking at your door. So, when you're ready to ask that first date out on your way to heavenly wedding bells, be yourself. You wouldn't want them to marry anyone else. I've sent many to sleep with my lives. I take it as a compliment. I must be doing something right if people feel safe enough to just exist. And Kristen, of course. From the core of your bone and every inch of your muscle and skin tone, you are power. You are the choice of a million ancestors, seeing the person they loved the most. You are the result of all of your ancestors, believing that that one person was more beautiful than anyone else. You are exactly who and what you are meant to be, a choice. And you have chosen to get back up and fight when you thought you would die, and you have chosen to pull up and pull forward when you wanted to cry. You have fight in you, whether it's with the brush or the word, whether it's how you work with animals or people, there is fight in you. And you deserve to share that fight with the world, to build up what needs to be built, and to tear down what is old. Maybe we're not perfect, but hey, neither is gold. I can't make your dad love you, but I can be a father figure. And as a father figure, I can tell you that I love you and that I am proud of you. That you have always been worth the effort, even when others weren't willing to pay it. And you've always been worth loving, even when others didn't want to say it. I'm glad my advice helped. You're safe to cry here. You're safe to breathe. You're in full control. Whenever you want, you can take your leave. So feel free to exist with people all around the world. It's a crazy little place, isn't it? But give it a whirl. Somewhere out there, whether you know it or not, there's a passion you've been meaning to live, even if you forgot. Between work and bills and day to day, sometimes we let passion fade away. And I'm sure your dad loved you very much. And Dom, you have anxiety in school because school is meant to stress you out. That's what it's made for. To see how you can perform while under pressure. To train you to get better and better at performing under pressure. And yes, I remember you kill at it. Take a breath. It's all right. Hey, Yulin. Good to see you. How'd your date go? I also deal with anxiety and ADHD. From panic attacks and unwanted flashbacks. For a long time, they were all that made me. Then one day, as I laid in bed, waiting for death to to come lay to rest my sleepy head, I opened my eyes back up. I worked my fight and my fire back up. I decided that I would be more than what was done to me. I decided I would make my own legacy. It didn't have to change the world. I didn't need to be Julius the Great or the pyramids. But I would not spend the rest of my life as nothing more than the remains of what had been done to me. I made peace with and said goodbye to the person I could have been who had died. They were gone, and that was fine. It hurt, and sometimes to this day it still makes me want to cry. But the person I chose to be was wise when they could be, was kind when they didn't have to be, was funny even if it wasn't always to the right ears. I am proud of the person I got to choose to be, and I forgave the person that I would never be. Yes, I remember you, Fragtastic. And thank you, Nina and Fursan. Here's flips for both of you. Hello, Tang. Well, thank you. That's what we do. It's just a place where you can exist. I'm sorry to hear that, Yulin. And thank you, West Coast. And it was. My father figure was the movie monster of a lifetime movie. I can't even share every horrific thing he did because not all of the stories are mine alone. And yes, I remember you, OMG Israel. And I try to remember everyone who comes back. I do the best I can. And I am doing very well. And thank you, Diamonds. Here's a flip for you. Hello, sad writer. I'm a writer myself. What kind of books do you have on your mental shelf? You'll get through it, smart. And yes, I remember you as well. And Rocco the doggo, if you want to get through bereavement of loss, one of the best things that I have ever heard or suggested is to go give one day of life back to the person you lost. Life took them, yes. It wasn't fair, and you wanted them to have so many more breaths. But go watch all their favorite shows, tell their favorite jokes and their stories. For one day, do all of their favorite things. Eat their favorite foods. Go to their favorite places. Live for them. One more day. Take them back from death. And at the end of that day, well after the sun is set, say all those things that you could never forget. I did grieve Chet Mutton, but you are who you are. Broken, battered, limping. You exist. That was a hard one for me to make peace with. I wanted so badly to be the person that I could have been. But everything that had happened had taken them away. couldn't go back. I decided that I would be lost for a while, and I would search. I read hundreds of books, watched thousands of hours of seminars of gurus and wise men, and even when I hated what they had to say, I made myself explain why. Why do I not agree with this advice, or this opinion, or this idea? Sometimes it was my fault. Sometimes I wasn't ready for things like forgive or forget. It's not a message that works for me. I crawled out on spite alone. It doesn't mean that the advice was bad. It just wasn't for me. And I'm sure peace doesn't. I'm not claiming that life is perfect, or if you just think a certain way, everything will magically get better and work out. That's the advice of somebody who's trying to sell you something. What I'm saying is, every time you spend hours hating yourself for things that aren't your fault, or because you aren't as good as you think you should be, those hours are hours you can get back. Those are hours you can devote to actually being the person you want to be. Stop living in a self-imprisonment of shame. Especially when so much of the things that you say to yourself aren't even your words. It's just the echoes of a ghost of your past. The skeletons in your closet rattling their jaws at you. And they're called bubble timers. And thank you, Leo115. Here's a flip for you. Hey, Robbie Mason. Feel guilt? Did you mess up? Acknowledge it. Shame is not something you're supposed to live with forever. You're supposed to acknowledge what you did, make sense of it. There are things that I've done wrong. I don't give myself excuses like I was in a bad place or things were just hard and I was acting out. No. I use those things as an excuse. I don't believe that apologies are an inherent right. It's a privilege, and it's a privilege you can lose. I have made peace with my mistakes. I do everything I can moving forward to not make them again. That doesn't mean I won't. It means I'm doing the best I can. I try to go live 5 days a week. And what are you doing wrong? Maybe maybe you're trying to stick yourself into a puzzle piece when you're a building block. I normally don't start my lives for another hour. And it would be hard to move on. The life you thought you were going to live is gone. After 13 years, I'm sure you thought this one person was going to be the rest of your life. The future you died when that relationship ended. It is normal to grieve. I'm glad to hear you're making progress, Katie. You're very welcome, dead man. Hey Jess, you stop. If you know that you are giving more than you are getting in return, and you know that that person could provide more but isn't interested in, then you stop. You set boundaries, and I need all of you to stop thinking of boundaries as a line in the sand between you and them. A boundary is not something that somebody crosses as they get closer to you. A boundary is a cliff, and when they pass it, they fall right out of your life. Of course, it's hard to move on. You'll manage it. That doesn't mean you'll enjoy it. Oh, Teshardex. Advice on feeling more resentment than love for your partner because they keep lying to you. Are you asking for advice, or are you looking for permission? Are you looking for someone to give you a blessing to make a choice that you made a long time ago, but you haven't had the strength to carry out? I usually don't start my lives for another hour. I think people can change, yes. I think more of this, that just because somebody cheated once doesn't mean they'll do it again. And I think that you're not going to know whether or not you can be okay with it until you know. You can be on the fence and you can try and mend this fence. Or you can accept who you are and that this isn't something that you forgive. And thank you, Kate. Here's a flip for you. I hope you make it to the next live as well. Hey, Taco Bell chick. And despite the fact that they've left you for other people, you're holding on to a dream. So often we make an imaginary mask and we put it right over the face of somebody else, giving them attributes and looks and personality traits that they don't possess. If you are between relationships, especially if the last one ended poorly, get 3 pieces of paper, and on the first piece of paper, I want you to write down all of your favorite things from any relationship you've had. Friends, family, loved ones, relationships. What were your favorite moments and activities? Things, even if it was just hanging out in silence. On the second piece of paper, write down all the things you hated in those situations. People who talked too much. People who took advantage. People who lied too much. And on the third piece of paper, write down all the times you wish you had done better. The times you lost your temper. When you weren't as kind as you would like to be. Where you didn't listen when your ears were available. That first piece of paper is your green flags. These are the things that you should look for in another person, no matter what kind of relationship you want to have with them. These are the things that you'll know, hey, we're going to get along. The second piece of paper is a special type of red flag. These are either red flags that are going to set you off the most, or these are the red flags that you don't see until it's too late. Why do I keep dating the same kind of person? Because they have red flags that are in your blind spots. And the third piece of paper is your self-improvement list. Sam, Tony, Frodo, they're all here. And I forget to bathe pretty often too. It's not my proudest thing, but I'm a busy dad. Because you didn't ever get to express that anger. TF do. and I help a lot of people, but how can I have a playlist called Luck of the Gutter Rose. I'm an aspiring writer. I've written 2 books. If you have any friends that like reading books, or you like books that are like The Magicians, or True Blood, or The Winchester Brothers, I forgot the name, Supernatural, you might like my book, or they might. If you would like or share those posts, that would be super helpful. See? And there you go, Kenny. And yes, I remember you. Oh, for Pete's sake. And yeah, talk about chicks. Breakups are very often the biggest wake-up call you have. Because you finally go, holy crap, all these red flags that I've been drowning in. I'm having a pretty good day. My boss called off work, so I got to relax today. First time I haven't been, and it would be BBE Bard, Big Bad Evil Bard. It would be the first time in a month that I have taken a full day off from working or writing. I just relaxed. And I'm sorry to hear about your dad. I know something that it helps a lot of people. Go give them one more day. Go spend a day with all of the people that your father loved. Go tell his favorite jokes, eat his favorite foods, do his favorite things. For one day, live as them. You get to give them one more day. You get to run their clock up just a little bit longer. And then at the end of that day, you can say everything that you ever wanted to say to them. Oh, no, my books are fantasy. My books are dark, very much so not PG-13. Monsters, mayhem, magic. I'll read you off the first line. How's that sound? Did you really summon me into a pot of salt water on your stove? Yes, I did. And every time you refuse to answer my question, I will click the stove knob up 1 time. It is a dark, modern fantasy story. And I'm still pretty amateur at it. So it's nerve-wracking. But whether or not I end up being a flop, or I work my way to writing famedom, it doesn't define me. I don't know what 5:15 is for you. It's called a bubble timer. Hey, big brain. You think of what it would be like to have never asked your crush out. I still think of a high school crush that I never asked out. It crosses my mind every now and then. Do you really want to spend the next 15 years wondering? Or would you rather at least know whether it was a no? Most importantly, if you want to ask somebody out, or even just want to tell them something big, go for it, Kenny. I bet you're a much better writer than you give yourself credit for. But give them a heads up. Before you trauma dump or you ask your friend out on a date, let them know that you want to have a serious conversation. Make sure they're not cornered. Be yourself. If you follow those 3 things, it should work out okay. When you trap somebody, or you catch them off guard with information they weren't ready to process, how can you expect them to be their most honest self? I can't tell you how many people have just popped out with a massive display of "I love you, would you go out with me" in public, only for the other person to freak out and say no. You trapped them. You put them in the spotlight. That might be okay for a proposal after you've been dating for a long time. But it's not a great way to treat your friends. And it's not the way that you should treat somebody that you might want to propose to one day. Give them the respect that you want to see in return. It helps set the tone for the relationship. And that happens, Suzuki. And thank you, Oliver. Here's a flip for you. Unfortunately, betrayal can only grow in trusting soil. It's just the nature of it. I can tell you that until you make a real definitive answer for what happiness looks like for you, you will never find it. No amount of happiness will ever be good enough. You've made a unicorn out of happiness, a mythological creature that you could never hunt down because it doesn't exist. Rather than acknowledging what happiness really looks like, gray skin, wide, beady eyes, and a horn from Africa. And yes, I'm describing a rhino. As long as you make the standards of your happiness elusive and undefined, how can you ever say you found it? And Jess, because someone convinced you of that so that they could get what they wanted from you. Probably a narcissist. It's pretty much their standard operating procedure. And if there's nothing else you take away from this live, I want you to stop proving that your relationships are right. Stop proving that you could never be loved. And start proving the person who treated you like that wrong. They were broken, and they made you sing their broken song. But it wasn't a song you were made to sing. A rhino with wings is moderately terrifying, quite frankly. Hey there, Shigo. Sorry it took me a second to figure out how to pronounce your name. It's Bubbles and Chill. It's a place to exist. Here are some of the words you never knew you needed. Catch your breath for a bit. And there's nothing wrong with being alone, Clover. By whose standard is successful also mean that you have to be in a relationship? Are you hurting anyone, including yourself? There's a long, respectable lore in human history of hermits who lived perfectly full and meaningful lives while staying away from other people. And at the end of the day, why are you required to be in a relationship outside of tax benefits? And do you really want to live your life by the tax code? I'm going to start doing that more often. Every time you struggle to meet an impossible standard, I want you to say, am I going to live my life by the tax code? So that you realize how ridiculous that standard is, or if it's really a basic standard. I dreamed about living in a forest my whole life. I finally made it. I get to be surrounded by the woods where no one can hear my self-inflicted artistic screams of self-loathing. Thanks, Crystal Farmstrong. I put a lot of work into it. It's copyright-free music. Sad piano background music for videos. I keep getting in trouble for copyright things. I am a father, and it is one of the best, most terrifying things I've ever done. Hey, Rock Possum. Your friends are mean, but you don't want to leave. Why do you think you deserve that kind of treatment, then? I don't have magic words that are going to give you confidence in yourself. This isn't a Disney movie, and I am not a wise old wizard like that. But what I can do is give you a seed, a single thought, and it's up to you to grow it. Why would you let somebody treat you a way that you wouldn't treat somebody else? That's your thought. If you grow it, it'll become a grand tree in the garden of your mind. It'll be a principle that you live under and holds you up. But you've got to keep thinking about it. You have to grow that seed. I can't do it for you. And all things Emerald Coast. Shh, don't be giving out my wizard secrets. Plausible deniability. And I'm very happy to hear that, Sandra. I hope you made good winter friends and that they're there with you right until the end. Hey, Dominic. I like being isolated sometimes too. Not necessarily all the time. But if I don't get a good hour of I don't have to be a person, I get cranky. And the reason so many people want to be left alone is because they have been wearing a mask that they can't stand the feel. We all make masks, sure. It's the way that children learn how to deal with the world. They don't understand it. They don't understand what's going on. So they make a mask, an imaginary person that they pretend to be when they face all of the big confusing things in life. And sometimes that mask gets so wildly uncomfortable that you don't want to wear it anymore. So stop wearing it. Go talk to your inner child. Who says you can't? They still exist. They're your foundation. Everything you are is built on top of everything that they were. Go back and tell them all the things they needed to hear. Explain to them the things that you never understood at the time, but you do now. Be the guardian, the parent, the best friend, or the sibling that they needed. And they will make a new mask. Or, even better, they'll throw it away. And you will not have to wear that mask ever again. And for the record, if you ever need to hear these words again, there's a link to my YouTube channel. If the video doesn't get messed up, I will post a replay of this video on my YouTube channel. So if you ever need to hear it again, or these videos just help you go to sleep, they're still there. And I'm proud of you all right now. I can't respond as fast as you all can type, but I'm proud of you. Well, thank you, Crazy Danny. Could you do me a favor and say the same to yourself? From me? Or for me? Thanks, Danny. And yes, this is a form of ASMR. I don't do weird stuff to my microphone while whispering seductively, though. That's, how do I put this? That's mainstream ASMR, I guess. ASMR isn't just supposed to give you tingles up and down your spine. It's supposed to give you a space where you can exist and process all of your backlog of emotions that you've bottled up. We're always told, bottle it up, don't show it. But we're never told when we're allowed to actually let all that stuff we bottled out. You're gonna make it, Connor scream. And trust me, 10 years from now, you'll have forgotten everything that you had to do today. I like the ASMR as well. I don't like watching, how do I say this without sounding salty? I don't like watching people pour goop onto a microphone and then use their bedroom voice and call it ASMR. Should be BBEBARD, but if you go to my profile and click the black triangle, it'll take you right there. Thank you. My hair is a gift from my ancestors. And Dubsy official. It does. Are you trying to get rid of something without replacing it? Addiction is an action. It's a behavior. Behaviors serve a purpose. If you were in a boat that was filling with water, you would try and use a bucket to get rid of it, right? Your addiction was the bucket. You were trying to get the water out of your rowboat so that you wouldn't drown. The trick to conquering addiction is to get a better bucket. Maybe one that's not full of holes or tearing your hands apart. That's how you beat addiction for good. I want you to think of some of the best bodybuilders you've ever seen and tell me that they're not addicted to working out. A lot of these people had to work out for years before they could even hope to make money at it. All of that pain, all of that grind, they went through all of that to build themselves up. That was their way of bucketing their emotional water they were drowning in out of their rowboat. But we respect bodybuilders. We think they're so grand and so wonderful. And The Rock is a perfect example of that because The Rock has admitted it. I forget the specific movie, but he mentions that he spent a lot of his life running away from the kid that he was. His addiction was to escaping the person that was bullied and hurt and got shit on by life. He worked out to escape it. And hey, Herotic, it's good to see you again. You'll find it, Dubsy official. But give yourself patience and permission. Give yourself permission to get angry without going back to the old bucket, or to be overwhelmed, or to miss it even. without picking it back up. You're looking for a better bucket. And all the time you spend in hand with that rusty old crap bucket is time that's going to keep you away from finding a proper pail or even a pump. And I think better understanding how addiction is for you will also help you get past it. You're very welcome, Dead Sea. And you've always been worth it. Oh, my bucket. My addiction, my rusty, full of hole pails, after daydreaming. I went away. I checked out mentally. I lived in an imaginary world where I could be the hero, where I was strong and unstoppable, where I fought back against the evils of the world, and I wasn't useless or too weak or too small to help. And now, my new bucket is several smaller buckets, and this is one of them. I get to take all of the gifts that were given to me from all of the wise men that I learned from, and I get to give them back to the world. Helping every last one of you, even if it's just to make a place where you don't have to do anything, is how I repay the kindness of the wise men before me. And I'm sure at least one of you, even if you don't know it now, is on your journey to do the same thing I'm doing now. To go out there. To make a safe place where people can heal. To share the wisdom that I shared with you with others. To hand it on and to pass the baton. Another bucket that I use is I became a writer. I had mastered storytelling in my head from all the years I spent there hiding under my bed. Getting to use the things that used to tear me apart to build up myself and others. I guess that would be my bucket. Look, we're here for a good time, not necessarily a long time. I'll eat the cookie dough. And thanks to the original Morty, it's good to see you again. I hope you had a good weekend. And it's going very good, 420. They're called bubble timers. You can get them on Amazon for like 10, 15 bucks. And yes, I remember you, George. Tips for keeping a healthy mind and a healthy relationship. Shaming yourself as an excuse to not fix yourself. Shame as a crutch. You feel like as long as I feel terrible, as long as I feel awful, I am suffering, and therefore I don't have to fix my behavior or correct my actions. Do the work. Forgive yourself, but don't forget. Same thing, Jojo. And now, after all these years, I got my own book. Can't tell you how nerve-wracking it is, how it feels to have a physical copy of something I sat there and wrote. I'm deeply worried that it's all trash. But hey, I'll keep going for it. And tips for meditation. This is gonna sound crazy, so come here. Have you ever been to your favorite genre of music and then just been so in the moment and so vibed that you just felt a rush of emotions and you enjoyed it? That's meditation. That's nirvana. That's the highest state of meditation. That's why deep down we know so many people in the punk rock crew are deeply spiritual. Meditation doesn't look the same to everybody. You do not have to sit there in the lotus pose on a mountaintop staring into the rising sun if it's not for you. Your form of meditation is yours. Maybe it's listening to jazz music. Maybe it's closing your eyes while you drink your morning coffee. Maybe it's spending 10 minutes before you go to sleep at night, letting yourself drift and rest. What do you all say? One last flip before we say goodnight? I am proud of the work that you have done. Remember to keep your chin up, your nose down, and your eyes on the horizon. Whether you're walking tall or you're just trying to crawl. And every time you think, I can't last for one more second, remember it takes 2 seconds to think that thought, which is 2 seconds longer than you thought you could last. Happy birthday, Hell Watson team. And as for your exam, it's supposed to stress you out. The point of school isn't necessarily learning writing or reading or arithmetic. How many times have you heard that somebody got a master's degree in college, but when they got to the job, it was nothing that they had been taught, and they had to learn everything they needed at the job? The college... See you all later. And if you know people who like reading books, my pinned video or any of the videos in the playlist for Luck of the Gutter Rose shared around would be super helpful. Have a good night. I'll see you all tomorrow.